Welcome to the Asian Connection Mortgage Podcast, where we connect Asian Canadians together to talk about anything related to real estate, mortgages, and finances, based out of Vancouver. Our host is John Lee, mortgage broker with Arise Mortgage. Grab a bubble tea and enjoy the episode.
Welcome back to the Asian Connection Mortgage Podcast. I'm John Lee, mortgage broker located in Vancouver. And today we are going to do some math together. We're going to find out how much you can borrow in 30 seconds. So I know mortgages can be quite complicated, and I just want to throw away all these complicated calculators. And you don't need to wait for someone to get back to you on this calculation, or you might have forgotten how much you can afford. So I'm going to teach you 30-second mortgage math that every home buyer or homeowner should know by heart. And this works really, really, really well for first-time home buyers. I'm also going to share with you the quick formula to figure out how much your mortgage payment is going to be. So hopefully by the end of this episode, you can figure out how much you are qualified for on a mortgage. And hopefully that will be really helpful if you're wondering how much you can qualify and you don't really want to reach out to your bank or mortgage broker because you're just not at that stage yet. Now, before I dive into the formulas, I want to share with you some of the things that we need to set, like the parameters. We have to assume a few things. So first is we have to assume that you have good credit, which is 680 plus. We also have to assume that you have stable employment income. This means that you are full-time, you are a permanent employee, and if you have like a salary, that's like perfect. This format will work really well if your income is set. This works really well if your total debt payments is zero. This means you don't have any car payments or lease payments. You may have like credit card outstanding debt. I get that. But if you're paying that at the end of every month, then we can assume that you have no debt. And lastly, interest rates. We're going to assume that we're in the range of about 4 to 5%. So if this is all you, continue listening. But if it's not, and you have like significant debts, so you have lots of car loan payments and student loans, or even mortgages and other properties, this might not work for you. If you have irregular income that's coming in, so you're self-employed or you're commission-based or you're part-time, that's not going to work. And if you have poor credit, meaning your credit score is less than 680, and you're better off just skipping to another episode that I have, this will not work for you. But if this is you, continue listening and go through the formula right now. First question you have to ask yourself is, how much down payment are you putting down? Because all of these calculations are different depending on down payment. So let's start off with if you have less than 20% down payment. So if you have less than 20% down payment, take your annual income and multiply it by 4. And that's it. That is your maximum mortgage amount that you will be able to qualify. If you have 20% down or more, then it's a range. So because with 20% down, there's a little more flexibility. So if you're using a 25-year amortization mortgage, then it's your annual income times 5. But if you need to stretch it out a little bit, you need to borrow more, we can. And so you take your annual income again and multiply it by 5.5 times. And you'll get approximately your maximum mortgage amount. Yeah, there you go. Like, in the title, I said figuring out in 30 seconds, right? It's probably even less than that, maybe 10 seconds. So let's give you some, let's work with some examples. So, easy example, if you make 100,000 a year and you're putting down less than 20%, so say 10%, then your maximum mortgage will be 100,000 times 4, which is 400,000. Now, if you make 100,000 and you're putting down 20% and you want to know approximately how much you can borrow, then it's 100,000 times 5, which is 500,000. And we can stretch it out a little bit more. So multiply by 5.5 times, which would be 550,000. So that's your range, 500 to 550,000. Now this is just a mortgage loan. And then on top of that is your down payment. And if you add those two up, then you will be able to figure out your purchase price. So you may ask, well, why is it for less than 20% down, it's like 4 times? That's quite little. Well, it's because if you have less than 20% down, you need to go through a government program uh, using mortgage insurance through CMHC. And these insurance companies, they have stricter qualifying rules and there's no wiggle room at all. So that's why it's 4 times your annual income. Whereas if you have 20% down or more, then uh, really the bank takes on the risk. And they're generally okay because you're putting more down payment, they think it's safer because there's more skin in the game, right? But also it's because it is lending their own money, then they are able to stipulate the rules. Now I'm going to share with you the payment formula that you can use. Again, if you're in bed late at night and your mind's going 100 miles an hour and you're trying to figure out, okay, can I be qualified for this? And if so, what would be my monthly payment and can I afford it? So, what you can do is if you have a mortgage amount that you're looking into, then what you can do is if it's 25-year amortization, then take $550 per every 100,000. So that will be your mortgage payment if it's 25-year amortization. If it's 30-year amortization, the payments will be lower. So take $500 for every $100,000 of mortgage, and you'll be able to figure out what your payment is. So let's use an example. So let's say your mortgage is 400,000. So it's 400,000 and we're using 25-year amortization. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 550 times 4, and that will get us $2,200 per month. And same mortgage, 400,000, but we're using a 30-year amortization. Then your payments will be a little bit less because we're stretching out the mortgage. And instead of 2,200, now it's $2,000 per month. So if you're trying to use these ballpark numbers and quick formulas, just make sure you use conservative numbers. If you have income and you have bonus, we can incorporate that, but just use your base to multiply. So then you get conservative numbers. Number two is make sure you also factor in property taxes and strata fees. We mentioned about how to calculate your mortgage payments. So that's only the mortgage payment. So the interest and principal payment. That's not your total payment, which will include strata fees and property taxes. So what I would suggest is add about $500 per month on top of the mortgage payment, and that will give you a good idea of what your total payments would be. And lastly, this is again just ballpark numbers. So if it does fall into the range and you do want to move forward, definitely contact your mortgage broker. Hopefully it's me. If it's not, it's okay. Mortgage broker or your bank, and they'll be able to really narrow down numbers for you, go through your documents, pull your credit, and be able to really get you pre-approved. So there you go. I hope this was really helpful. I would say using these quick formulas will get you maybe 95% accurate. That 5% remaining, you will need to make it official by contacting your bank or mortgage broker. So yeah, if you really found this helpful, make sure you share this episode with anyone you know who's thinking of buying or trying to figure out what their purchasing power is. And if you want to put these numbers to a test with a real pre-approval, you know where to find me. All my contact information is in the show notes. Reach out. I'll be happy to set a time with you to go through the pre-approval together. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider giving us a review and subscribing to our podcast on your favorite platform. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the